In Tokyo, Japan, there were these super close twin sisters who could share everything with each other. As they grew up, they even ended up having their weddings on the same day. But then things took a turn when the older sister, Akira, discovered she couldn't have kids. Her marriage began to crumble, leading her to get a divorce. Not wanting to let her sister go through it alone, Asahi also chose to divorce, even though she was pregnant.
Don't worry, sis. Whatever is mine is yours too. We will share this baby.
Can I be your baby's godmother?
A few months later, an angel was born into the loving arms of her two moms.
Oh, she's such a cutie. And look, she has my eyes.
Huh? You must be kidding. Give her to me. Let me hug her first. And oh, look at her. Isn't she a little tiny version of me?
Well, that little girl is me. I'm so lucky to have two moms who love me so much that they try to control my life in the craziest way. Hi, I'm Atsushi. Before we dive into my story, don't forget to like and subscribe. Mom and Aunt Akira were super close and totally got each other. But the one thing that always made them argue and get all tense was fighting over me.
Atsushi spoke her first word. She said, "Ummi." Can you believe that?
What? I'm sure you've misheard. Mommy, that's me. What's an Ami anyway?
It's short for aunt. Plus mommy. That's me. I always knew she liked me more.
Of course, my mom didn't accept that and started pulling me away, while Aunt Evelyn wouldn't let go either. The struggle only ended when I was flung aside and started crying out loud. On my 5th birthday, my mom and aunt took me to Disneyland. While my aunt went to a restaurant to order lunch, my mom and I were waiting when I suddenly saw Mickey, and it looked like he was waving at me. I immediately ran through the crowd to catch him. He hugged me, and we even danced together. But then I realized I had gone too far, and when I turned back to find my mom, I was lost. I cried while searching for her, but luckily, a security guard found me and took me to the information desk. My mom and aunt rushed there right away.
Oh my god. Honey, I'm so sorry. I didn't notice you had gone.
You didn't notice your own daughter? How amazing you are. I shouldn't have left her alone with you in the first place.
My mom was crying, but Aunt Akira ignored her and picked me up, taking me to the restaurant. I cheered up right away when I saw the table full of grubs. That night, I woke up when I heard my mom crying in the living room. She held me tightly as soon as I walked in.
I'm so sorry, darling. I never thought I'd be so stupid. Your aunt was right to be angry. Today, I almost lost you.
Mommy, it's okay. I'm just fine. And I love you.
In fact, after that incident, their sisterly relationship deteriorated, and they kept finding excuses to blame each other.
Hey, sis. Don't store the fish together with the meat.
Oh, don't be so harsh when you're keeping a whole cow in the fridge.
However, when I reached school age, they joined forces to choose the best school in town for me. On my first day of school, Mom woke me up early and helped me brush my hair. But while I was having breakfast, Aunt Akira came running in, out of breath.
Stop! What happened to your hair?
Then she took off the clip Mom had just put on me and replaced it with another one that looked pretty cute.
Aunt Akira, this is so nice. Can you do my hair every day?
Of course! Honey, why am I even here? Why am I even here then?
Why am I even here then?
Oh, Mommy, do you hear that? That's the school bus. See you two later. Love you.
Love you too, my dear.
I think she said that to me.
OMG, a big blow-up was probably about to start. I just ran off and hid in a corner to avoid the family drama until the bus arrived. Over the years, I achieved a lot at school. Aside from the fact that they always argued and even fought over me in front of others, which was really embarrassing, everything else was pretty good. They always cheered me on in every competition, and no one dared to bully me, not even the toughest kid at school. One day, when I was in 12th grade, Aunt Akira brought home a boy about my age.
This is Alan, the son of my best friend. Since his family is facing some financial difficulties, he'll be staying with us for the next 6 months.
6 months? Are you crazy? We barely know him.
She completely ignored both my mom's and my protests and let him into the house. My mom was furious, but there was nothing she could do about it. It was awful that his room was right next to mine, and he had a habit of playing guitar every night. I could barely concentrate on anything. Unable to take it anymore, I stormed over to his room and pounded on the door.
Hey, Mr. Alan Walker. Less noise, please.
He opened the door and smiled as if nothing had happened.
Oh my god, what did you just call me? How did you know he's my music idol?
Okay, whatever. Just keep it down. I'm practicing for the national music competition.
Wow, you can compose music too? Let's hear one. I could write it with you. Why don't we start our own band?
Oh no, why did my mom allow this dummy guy to stay in my house? As soon as I stepped out of my room, the electric guitar started blaring again. A few days later, It was my graduation, and just like every year, it turned into a battle between my mom and my aunt to see who would get to take a picture with me first. But in the end, they threw an amazing party. Alan and I even played a few songs together. I have to admit, Alan played pretty well, and after we finished, I went over to him with all my school friends.
Hey, Alan! Oh, sorry. I mean, Mr. Alan Walker. Your music skills are amazing.
You look absolutely stunning today.
We were laughing and chatting when suddenly someone pulled me away. It was my mom.
What's going on here? Is this boy flirting with you?
So what if he is? Asahi. I know him like his mom.
But I don't know him or his mom, and I don't want him and Atsushi getting so close.
And my mom started pulling me away, but my aunt stepped in front and stopped her. They started fighting, and everyone at the party was staring at us. I was really upset. When would they stop treating me like a child? Feeling so embarrassed, I ran out of there. While I was sulking outside, Alan came up to me.
Hey, sorry about that. You want to get out of here?
I agreed right away and left my own party. He took me to his favorite place, a dance studio.
Wow, this place is so aesthetic, Alan. But I don't know how to dance.
It's simple. All you need to do is follow my lead. Come on.
He was teaching me so well and I was loving it. After a few minutes, I got so excited that I tried to pull off a tricky move I'd seen b-boys do. The result? My face kissed the floor, and I passed out. Alan rushed me to the hospital, and I was okay, but I had to get a few stitches. When my mom and aunt arrived, they went absolutely crazy.
I knew it! This kid was just trouble! Akira, see what you've done? You brought this mess into my daughter's life.
Aunt Akira looked so nervous and guilty.
Mom, stop it! You're making everything worse. Alan didn't do anything. It was me. I agreed to go with him. I decided to do that flip and fell.
But the tension didn't ease up at all after my words. We had just started becoming friends, and now my mom was already trying to push him out the door. Alan told my aunt that he would be going back to France because his parents had called him yesterday, saying things were finally settling down there. It didn't stop there. The doctor said I needed to rest for a while longer, which meant I wouldn't be able to participate in the music composition competition. I couldn't accept that, so I asked my mom to discharge me from the hospital the next day. Moms reluctantly agreed. On the day of the competition, I was extremely nervous. My mind was completely blank. I was biting my pen and staring out the window when I saw Aunt Akira waving at me.
What's she doing here?
She sneaked over to the window and gave me a mysterious smile. I glared at her and signaled that she should leave. But instead, she threw a piece of paper at me. It slid down and landed right at the judge's feet. He picked it up, saw it was a pre-written song, and then noticed Aunt Akira by the window. I was immediately accused of cheating. After discussing, the organizers immediately disqualified me from the competition and banned me from participating in any future contests. Aunt Akira rushed over, crying and begging them to give me another chance.
Sorry, but those are the rules of the competition. We can't tolerate any form of cheating.
Akira's attitude suddenly shifted drastically.
What a stupid contest. Your decision is ruining the future of a musical talent.
Hey, be careful with your words.
The judges tried to leave, but Aunt Akira attempted to stop them. They started arguing until security showed up and threw us outside. I began to feel suspicious. Why was Akira doing this? She didn't even know anything about the competition or my abilities.
Mom, Akira, please answer my question. Why did you do that? You know it didn't help at all, and it even prevented me from participating in the competition and pursuing my dream.
Sorry, darling. I just wanted to help because I thought you were still recovering and didn't have enough time to prepare. But I never expected things to turn out this way.
Is sorry supposed to be enough? You were the one who brought Alan into this house, and you were the one who destroyed my daughter's dream. Maybe Atsushi only needs one mom, and you've become completely superfluous.
Aunt Akira burst into tears and ran to her room. She began avoiding us and didn't say a word. She locked herself away for a long time. When I felt things had gone too far, I went to her room to find her, but she was no longer there. Instead, I found a note on her vanity.
I apologize for everything I've done. Thank you, Asahi, for allowing me to be your mother. Love you, Atsushi.
What? She left? But where could she go? This is her home. Both Mom and I were in shock. As days went by, I realized I wasn't angry with Aunt Akira anymore. However, I missed her terribly, and I knew Mom felt the same way.
Mom, did you add salt to my tea? And why are you even wearing a sweatshirt? It's summer, Mom.
Oh yeah, honey. I'm just, sorry, my dear. I don't know why, but I'm just not myself these days.
I know why. Mom, you're missing Aunt too. What if she just forgets me, Mom? Maybe she'll just have a kid of her own and never think of me.
No, honey. That's medically impossible for her. You know that's why I promised her that you're her kid too. But we just got so crazy.
Oh no, she can't have children, which is why she loved me so much. I feel awful about it. I want her to come back. I've tried to reach out to her many times through email and phone, but she hasn't responded at all.
Then one day, I received some good news. The organizers of the music composition competition informed me that I was allowed to participate again. I got that chance, and I composed a fantastic song about my two mothers.
Even better, I won the top prize. A music producer reached out, and my song will be released. It also gained a lot of fans. On the release day of my first song, I could bring my mom along, but I also wanted my aunt to be there. I sent her an invitation via email, hoping she would show up.
That day, Alan also returned, and I was very nervous, but my mom was there to cheer me on.
She hasn't arrived yet, has she? Tell me, Mom, is Aunt Akira here?
Don't worry, darling. I'll record the song to send to her. She'll be so proud of you.
When I stepped onto the stage, I felt very nervous as I looked at the crowd. But when my gaze landed on Mom, Aunt Akia, and Alan, I felt braver than ever. It wasn't just the song, they were the most precious things in my life. As soon as the debut ended, I ran down to my two moms and hugged them.
I miss you so much, Mama Kira. God blessed me with two amazing moms.
Mama Kira also burst into tears and hugged me.
I missed both of you so much. I'm glad you forgave me, and thank you for the song.
We laughed together, and Mom also apologized to Mama Kira and Alan. At that moment, a crowd of fans rushed over asking for my autograph.
Sweetheart, did you see? You've achieved your dream.
Thank you, Mom. But I've always lived in my dream. A family with two wonderful moms. Do you think my two moms are too strict? Drop a 1 in the comments if you agree, or a 0 if you don't. See y'all!
Hello, I'm Belle from France. Please like and subscribe. Ever since I was born, I've had a mortal enemy, my sister, Jolie. She's selfish and only wants our parents all to herself. She looks like an angel with her blonde hair and blue eyes, and they think she can do no wrong. Only I know that she's actually a devil in disguise. Once, when I was 5 years old, I spent hours organizing my toys in my room, and suddenly Jolie came in and knocked everything over.
Why did you do that, witch?
Why did you do that, witch?
Stop that!
Stop that!
I hate you, Jolie.
You're the best. Jolie?
I pushed her to the ground and she screamed like crazy. Then she slapped herself in the face. When our parents rushed in, she started crying.
I tripped over Bella's toys, and I said I was really, really sorry. But look, she hit me.
No, I didn't. She hit herself.
Stop lying! Bella, why would she do that? Is she crazy?
Yes, that's right. And my parents punished me by not letting me go outside to play for 2 weeks. My parents were so blind. Jolie isn't just the perfect, beautiful example. She also has a cheerful personality in front of everyone, which makes her the family favorite. That means she always gets more compliments and better gifts. On Bastille Day, we had a dinner party at home, and as soon as I stepped out of my room, I slipped and fell into a puddle of chocolate sauce. When I ran down the stairs in anger, everyone looked at me in surprise. But no one was more shocked than Jolie.
Oh, poor Bella, what happened to your beautiful dress? Is that mud or poop?
You know what it is, Jolie. You did this.
Me? I've been here all this time? And why would I do that?
Please stop blaming your sister for everything. Just come now. It's time for family portraits.
And in all the photos, everyone was gathered around Jolie while I stood off to the side in my ugly dress. I felt so sad and snuck outside. No one would notice me anyway. As I was angrily kicking the dirt, I suddenly froze when someone spoke behind me.
Having a bad day?
I turned around and saw a beautiful girl, but her hair seemed a bit off.
Yeah, I am. My sister ruins everything for me and no one even sees it.
Siblings are the worst. I hate my sister. Mom lets her get away with everything.
Her name was Charlotte, and she had just moved to our neighborhood. We instantly bonded. As I was about to leave, I suddenly turned back.
Why is your hair like that?
Oh, my mom loves my hair, so I chopped it off just to annoy her.
Oh, wow. She was so bold. And we both grinned. I already liked this girl. And just like Charlotte told me, I put a snake under Jolie's bed. She was terrified and couldn't sleep for days. From that day on, Charlotte and I became best friends. She went to the same school as me, and having her around made my life so much better. Even Jolie didn't have the same charm over her.
Sure, she's pretty, but you've got a great personality.
That's what you say to someone who's not pretty. Charlotte!
You didn't let me finish. You're smarter and cooler, and I think that makes you prettier than her.
Now you're just lying to make me feel better?
It was great hearing things like that. But I didn't really trust Charlotte, even though she was my friend. The 2 best years of my life were when Jolie went to high school, but soon enough I had to go there with her. I begged my parents to let me go somewhere else, but they completely ignored me.
You guys going to the same school is easier for me. Julie never complains. You could learn something from her?
And she'll help you find your way around the new campus. Right, Julie?
Of course, Daddy. Haven't I always taken care of Bella?
But on the first day of school, she sped off in the car, leaving me behind, so I had to take the bus. When we met at the stairs, she seriously warned me.
Listen to me, idiot. I want you to stay away from my friends and my hot boys at my school. Don't come near me. Don't even look at me. I don't want anyone knowing my sister is from Planet Loser.
As if I want anyone thinking I'm related to the Queen of Planet Bimbo.
Oh, don't worry. No one will be thinking about you.
Then she ran off to join the other pretty girls. Ugh, I hate this place so much. But I was still grateful to have Charlotte by my side. The very next day, as I was walking down the hallway, I accidentally bumped into a guy. We both fell down. He helped me up, and I couldn't help but notice that he was really cute. I definitely needed to find out more about him. But that night, as I was sleeping, Jolie burst into my room with an angry look on her face.
Wake up, ugly! Tell me why you were talking to Alain.
Gosh, you're such a psycho. And who's Alain?
That guy you were flirting with by the lockers.
Oh, him. Why are you so interested?
Because that boy is mine?
Are you two dating?
Well, not technically, we're really good friends, but he's about to ask me out any day. See, I even got a tattoo with his name.
Why are you so lame? He's not even your boyfriend yet.
You know what everyone likes, especially boys? Confidence. I'm completely sure he will be my boyfriend, so stay away from him.
Julia was really intense when she talked about him, which made me curious about how close they actually were. So, while she was in the shower, I sneaked a look at her phone, and it was worse than I thought. She was completely obsessed with him. Her phone was full of pictures of him, including one of them with 2 random kids captioned, "Our perfect family." Oh my gosh, I couldn't believe Julia could be this crazy. And aside from her obsession with Alain, it seemed like she really enjoyed writing all sorts of rumors and nasty comments about her friends. Just then, I heard Julia's footsteps coming out of the bathroom, and I bolted out of her room like a bullet. A few days later was my 18th birthday, and the only plan I had was a movie night with Charlotte. But when we got home, I was shocked to find my parents, Julia, and others throwing a surprise party for me.
What? You guys threw me a surprise birthday party?
Oh, it was all Julia idea.
Looking around, I noticed that none of my classmates were there. It was just people Julia knew, including Alain.
Where are my friends?
What friends? Charlotte. Here, isn't she? I thought it would be a really lame party with one friend, so I invited mine.
So sweet of you, Julia.
No, it's not. You basically just threw a party for yourself.
Stop being such a crybaby, will you? The cake's got your name on it.
I saw her friends giggling, and then they turned up the music really loud and started dancing. I went upstairs and grabbed the phone on Julia's bed. I unplugged the cord, and the music suddenly stopped.
Everyone, listen up. Since you're all gathered here, I think it's time I let you know what your wonderful friend Julia really thinks about you.
She went pale when she saw the phone in my hand, and I projected it onto the TV screen. She chased me around the room to get the phone back, and we ended up in a heap on the floor. At that moment, Alain's eyes widened as he saw all the things about him, and the rest of her friends were glaring at her. Suddenly, they all walked out, and she turned back to lunge at me again.
How could she? You do something so horrible!
You're shocked after all the horrible things you've always done to me.
My parents rushed in and pulled us apart. As Julia ran to her room, they followed after her. I stood up and grinned at Charlotte.
That was epic, wasn't it?
No, Bella, that was horrible.
What do you mean? Julia totally deserved it. I didn't make up those things. She wrote them.
But you're the person who took her diary and then read it out loud in front of everyone.
Wouldn't you do the same thing to your sister?
Heck no. Yeah, we fight a lot, but I would never stoop this low.
I can't believe you're mad at me.
More like really disappointed.
I couldn't believe she was mad at me. As she walked away, her words felt like a slap in the face. And then I just felt angry. Julia had never been good to me, so I didn't have to feel bad about getting my revenge. In fact, I decided to keep going with it. The next day, I went shopping and bought the nicest clothes I could afford and some new makeup. I took my time getting ready for school, and I looked amazing. Julia's jaw dropped when I came downstairs.
Oh, wow. Bella 18 looks good on you.
Thanks, Mom.
There was one more thing I needed to learn from Julia. Confidence. So after recess, I took a deep breath and walked over to the table where Julia's friends were sitting.
Hi, everyone. I'm sitting here today.
What makes you think you're gonna do that?
You were all there last night, right? Aren't you glad I showed you Julia's true face?
Well, that's true. I guess you can sit. What's with the makeover?
Well, it is my birthday.
Does that mean we owe you a cake?
Sure, why not?
And just like that, I started hanging out with Julia's old friends, which clearly made her really angry. Charlotte was still avoiding me, but at least I wasn't alone. I got a taste of what it was like to be Julia, and I liked it. Then one day, Alain came and sat next to me in the library.
Hey, Bella. I just wanted to say what you did at that birthday party was cool. Who knew Julia had such a mean streak? And also the stuff she wrote about me. That was just creepy. I almost asked her out, can you imagine? So I was wondering, maybe you and I could hang out tonight.
The guy she liked was almost about to ask me out. It felt great, and we exchanged Facebook contacts. Just then, Charlotte walked by and didn't even acknowledge me. And I went after her.
So what? You're never going to talk to me again?
I don't even know who you are now. Oh, wait, I do. You're Julia's clone. You look like her. Hang out with her friends. Go after the guy she wants.
You know what, Charlotte? It's easy for you to be judged because you don't know what it's like to be compared your entire life to a sister who the world thinks is perfect.
I never thought that. But that doesn't count, right? And don't blame the world. You just see yourself as Julia's sister. You compare yourself to her the most. Give me a call when you decide to be yourself again. Because I liked that person.
I felt sad because I realized I had lost myself, and Charlotte didn't like who I had become. Later, when it was time for my date with Alain, I was about to text him to cancel, but he was already standing outside the gate. Oh no, I didn't want Julia to see him there, but as I rushed out, I saw her with him, and she was kissing him, but Alain pushed her away.
What are you doing, Julia?
Babe, I know you like me and you were gonna ask me out.
Yeah, that was before I found out how obsessed you are with me. You were hot when you were playing hard to get, but not anymore.
Alain, I was there for you when your parents got divorced. We've been friends for so long. Are you really gonna be this way with me? Why are you even here then?
I'm here for your sister, who is much cooler than you. So please get a life and leave me alone.
I had never heard anyone talk to Julia like that before, and she was clearly hurt by those words.
Alain, don't talk to her like that.
Save it, Bella. The last thing I need is you defending me.
Yeah, why are you defending her now after you exposed her, babe? And thank God for that. I almost went out with a desperate loser.
That is enough! No one gets to be mean to my sister other than me! Jerk!
I was so upset that I kicked him, knocking him to the ground. He yelled in pain, and I took Julia inside the house.
You didn't have to do that.
Yes, I did. Listen, Julia, I was already about to cancel the date with him. I'm sorry, okay? Shinloi Vien guy home Joe and your friends, and trying to steal the guy you liked.
It looks like you did me a favor there.
Yeah, but that's not the point. Can't we just give up our dumb fighting already? I don't like who I'm turning into. You're my sister and we don't have to like each other, but I don't want to hate you either. Yeah, I guess we could try that. Good. I gotta go see Charlotte.
As I was running off, Julia suddenly said,
You know, Charlotte likes you, right?
Not right now, she doesn't.
No, stupid, I mean she likes to you.
I stared at her in shock. Could it be?
I think you're wrong.
I'm not. I know these things. Why else would anyone think you're prettier than me? It's the only explanation. Charlotte likes you.
For the first time ever. Your sisters, right? Shocking, but it's true.
I turned around to see Charlotte standing behind me, smiling. I could feel myself turning reduced. I ran to her and we hugged.
Charlotte and Bella sitting on a tree KISS.
Shut up, Julia. Let's get out of here.
Hi, my name is Serafina. Before we jump into today's story, please like and subscribe to Luna Avatar. My first memory of Mom is her voice singing lullabies to me every night. It was the most beautiful sound in the world. Mainly because the moment she stopped, I'd start screaming again. By the time I was 16 months old, I could hum every lullaby perfectly. My dad, a piano genius, taught me beautiful notes and how to put them together, and I was totally obsessed with it. On Dad's 30th birthday, there was a grand celebration at our mansion. Right after everyone started toasting, I climbed up on a table and began singing the birthday song. Suddenly, the whole room went silent, ready to take in my first performance.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
When I finished, I realized my voice could make a grown man cry.
Oh my god, that's exactly the voice of an angel.
I always had a feeling Serafina was gifted. I'm so proud of you, darling.
Right after that, my parents hired the best musicians in the city to coach me in vocals and music theory. At every party my parents and their friends hosted, they'd invite me to perform, and they even paid me for it. My life was perfect. Until one day, everything changed. When I was in the 2nd grade, my dad had just returned from meeting with some partners overseas. I froze when I saw a little girl with sad eyes, holding a stuffed bunny, step out of the car too. She was trying to hide behind Dad, but he gently pushed her forward.
This is Annabelle, Serafina. She's your sister, and she'll be living with our family now. Will you take care of her?
I looked into her scared, dark eyes and immediately took her hand. Always! But from the moment Annabelle showed up, a dark shadow, like the dress she wore, was cast over our happy home. It started with a huge fight between my parents that evening, and both of us overheard it.
You've broken my heart. She reminds me of my worst nightmare, and I have to see it every day. She can't stay here. I won't raise a child that isn't mine.
She has nowhere to go. Her mother's gone. I know you hate me right now, but please don't take it out on her. She's just a kid.
I didn't want Annabelle to hear this, so I said, "Come on, I'll play something for you. What's your favorite song?" I didn't fully understand what was happening, but one thing was clear. Mom hated Annabelle. She ignored her like there wasn't any child in the house besides me. But my dad and I were different. We adored her. Maybe it was because I could see the sadness and loneliness in my sister's eyes. And we more than made up for Mom's ice-cold attitude. But in the 8th grade, we got news one day that made our whole world come crashing down. Dad had been in a terrible car accident, and he was gone. We were all devastated, but Mom just shut herself up in her room for weeks. One night, while I was reading a Snow White story to Annabelle, Mom suddenly burst into the room and started yelling.
What are you doing in my daughter's room? You're just a poor maid.
Mom, are you okay? She's not a maid, this is Annabelle, remember?
Yes, Annabelle. How could I forget her? Everything got worse when she showed up. No, everything is exactly her fault.
I stared in horror at Mom as Annabelle started to cry.
Pack your things first thing in the morning, Annabelle. Are you planning to sleep with this filthy maid tonight?
What? No, she's not going anywhere. Dad said she's my sister.
Either she goes to the maids or the orphanage. This is her last night here.
As Mom was leaving, she suddenly pounced at Isabel, grabbed her stuffed bunny, and threw it in the fire.
No, my mom made that!
Annabelle cried for hours and I hugged her to sleep. What had happened to my mom? The very next day, Annabelle had to move to the maids' quarters despite my strong protests. She was still allowed to go to school, but she had to do house chores in her free time. I was scared she'd be sent away, so I stopped fighting with Mom, but I'd sneak food to her and help her with her homework at night. At school, we could always hang out together. But one day, I started trembling when I saw my mom show up at school, heading straight to the principal's office. Oh my God! Maybe my worst fear was about to come true. Mom, what are you doing here?
Oh, I'm here to withdraw Annabelle from school, of course.
You can't do that! She has to go to school!
Why? She's never going to be anything but a maid like her stupid mother. Education is a complete waste on someone whose future is just sweeping floors and cleaning rooms.
As she turned around, I grabbed Mom's wrist. If you make her drop out of school, I will too, and I'll tell everyone why. Are you sure you want everyone to know how you really treat Annabelle? Mom, Dad would be so disappointed in you. Mom looked shocked, then angrily pulled her arm away and left I'd won this little battle. But God knows what she'd do next. Things weren't great at home, but at least I had Eric. He was my boyfriend for 2 years and was just crazy about my voice one evening when I was on a date with him. I suddenly started getting calls from Annabelle.
Come home right now, Serafina!
I ran home to a scene of complete chaos. Mom was tearing apart Annabelle's room. What's going on?
Your dad's watch is missing, and I'm going to search all the maids' rooms, and when I find it, I'm kicking out the thief for good.
Just then, a servant came from another room saying it was under Mom's personal maid's bed. Mom looked completely shocked to find out it was her, but she threw her bags out instantly. Some days later, it was Annabelle's 13th birthday, and I snuck into her room with a cake when she blew the candles out. I asked her what she'd wished for.
I wished your mom was dead!
Annabelle, you don't mean that? She's my mom. Annabelle stayed silent, and I got up to leave. I'd never seen that look of hatred on my little sister's face before. In the middle of all this drama, I had a huge audition coming up. A prestigious music academy was looking for talent from different schools, and being selected would be a dream. But 5 days before the audition, I woke up with my throat hurting. I called out to the maid, but to my horror, my voice was gone. Mom rushed me to the doctor who diagnosed me with laryngitis. What he said next left me shocked.
Your voice will return to normal soon, but this is the end of your singing. If you strain your vocal cords too much, you could lose your voice permanently.
I just couldn't believe it. On the day of the auditions, I slipped into the auditorium with Eric, feeling devastated. I wanted to be up on that stage more than anything. And then one of the judges said,
The last performer is Miss Annabelle.
Wait, what? Annabelle stepped onto the stage and started singing.
Don't know what you wanna achieve, but make a
I was stunned. Her voice was beautiful. The judges gave her a standing ovation and said they'd be in touch with her. Soon as everyone started to leave, I caught up with her. Annabelle, that was amazing. But why didn't you tell me you could ever sing like that? She brushed my arm off angrily, her eyes blazing.
You never asked. You just assume that you're the only one with any talent. But I guess that's something we both got from our father. It makes you unhappy, doesn't it?
Why would you say that? I've always had your back, Annabelle.
Yet I've been living as a maid in my dad's house for years, and you did nothing. You think sneaking me food makes up for how I'm treated? No, it doesn't. All it does is make you feel good about yourself.
Annabelle, I tried.
Oh, nice try. I hate you, Serafina.
As she stormed off, I felt heartbroken. As Eric walked me back home that evening, suddenly, a skateboarder came charging straight at him. I pushed Eric out of the way just in time, but he landed on the pavement, hitting his head. I quickly called an ambulance, and after hours of waiting at the hospital, we were shocked to get the news Eric was in a coma. The doctors were hopeful he'd wake up soon. But weeks turned into months, and before I knew it, a year had passed. I was almost done with high school, and Annabelle was in her music academy on full scholarship, but we never spoke anymore. One day when I went to see Eric, I was shocked to see him sitting up in bed.
Oh my God, you're awake!
He gently pushed me away.
I'm sorry, who are you?
Eric, it's me, Serafina, your girlfriend!
Can you sing?
Yes, well I used to, but then I got sick and had to stop, remember?
No! I just know that my girlfriend sings beautifully. I couldn't move or see all these months, but she'd talk and sing to me often, and I could hear her. I know her voice, and it's not you.
Suddenly my blood ran cold when I heard someone behind me.
Babe, that was me. You could hear me?
Annabelle?
Yes, it's you!
She ran forward and hugged him, and then they kissed. Suddenly I just lost it. I pulled Annabelle by her hair. Are you completely crazy? You've been visiting my boyfriend and singing to him. Tell him you're lying.
I am not. He's mine. Let me go, witch.
And suddenly she pushed me viciously and I went flying into a trolley. I attacked her and we went crashing straight into the machines. And the next thing we knew, we were both thrown out of the hospital. I turned furiously to Annabelle. We're done for good. You become a hateful monster. I don't even know who you are anymore. But you're definitely not my sister.
Finally!
And with that, she left. I went on a very long walk to clear my head. And by the time I got home, Annabelle was gone. The next morning, Mom discovered a lot of things were gone too, including Dad's watch.
Heck, am going to report her to the police. Am going to.
Mom, just stop it. She's gone. That's what you wanted since you first saw her, right? And so what if she took Dad's stuff? It's hers too. Let it freaking go. A year later, I went off to university to study music. If I couldn't sing anymore, I could still play in my final year. I was leaving the campus one day when I stepped on a newspaper. It had Eric and Annabelle's face on the front page with the headline "Billionaire to tie knot in 2 weeks." Well, good for them. But just a few days later, I walked into a coffee shop. And to my shock, I saw Eric there. And he was kissing a blonde girl. That definitely wasn't Annabelle. I just walked away. It wasn't my problem. But I couldn't stop thinking about it. And when her wedding day arrived, I just could not do anything. Even if she hated me. She was my freaking little sister. And that's how I found myself bursting into the church and running like crazy down the aisle. Hold it! This wedding can't happen! As Annabelle turned to look at me in horror, I ran straight at her and hugged her. I held onto her tight as she squirmed and shrieked.
Oh my God, you psycho! Get off me!
I love you, Annabelle! I'm not going anywhere till you listen to me! As Eric looked super mad and everyone stared at us, she dragged me off to a small room.
What do you think you're doing, Serafina?
Annabelle, you can't marry Eric. He's a cheater.
I saw him kissing a girl the other day. I swear I'm not lying. Think I don't know about that? Well, I do, and it doesn't matter. I stole your man, and hell take care of me. At least I got rid of you and your psycho mom, so just buzz off. Annabelle, listen to me. You're just angry right now. I'm so sorry about everything. Mom was unbelievably cruel to you, and I should have fought harder. You deserved so much better, and you still do. Don't marry this jerk, please. Why do you care? Because you're my little sister, and I miss you so much. I had two things that I loved the most. My voice and you. I lost my voice for good, and I don't want to lose you too. Please forgive me and come with me. Oh, Serafina, I'm so sorry for all the horrible things I did to you. I thought I wanted to marry Eric too, tease you, but I now realize that everything I've been doing in my life was to not end up alone. I just wanted to belong to someone. You belong to me. You're my family. I made a promise to Dad to take care of you, and I will always. And with that, we hugged each other and walked back to our home. Family always comes first. Hi, I'm Freya from Ohio. Please like and subscribe. I belong to a home that was filled with happiness and love. And my dad worked very hard to give us the best life. Once when I was 4, Dad spent an entire weekend building me a treehouse in our backyard.
This is your special place. You can always come up here and look at the beautiful sky.
Thank you, Daddy!
And when your sister grows a little taller, promise me that you'll share this treehouse with her and always be happy together.
I promise. My sister Iris was 2 years younger, and I loved her to bits. I would dance for her, and she would laugh like crazy and clap her little hands. When I turned 6, Mom bought us walkie-talkies, and we had so much fun hiding from our parents.
The coast is all clear here. Over.
I see Mom's red hair. Over. Okay, I'm climbing down. Over. As I climbed down from the treehouse, I saw my aunt and my cousin enter our yard. I ran to greet them, and so did Iris.
Freya and Iris, you've grown so big.
Our cousin Shirley was the same age as me, and stood very quietly, without even a smile on her face. Just then, I noticed that they had 2 big suitcases with them. Are you going on holiday, Aunt?
Yes, we're here for the holiday.
Just then, Dad came out and helped Aunt with our bags. Aunt and Dad were twins, and he cared about her deeply. I was happy to have them around until Mom took me aside and spoke to me.
Freya, you will move into Iris's room and share her bed.
But Iris's bed is so small, Mom.
I know, honey. It's just until your aunt finds a job and moves out.
How long will that be?
Just a few months.
But months turned into years, and I was 10 and still squeezing into Iris's bed. My aunt didn't find a job, and Dad had to let her stay since they only had each other. And slowly, Aunt and Shirley started to become a nuisance. Yeah! Once in 7th grade, Mom had planned a party for me and Iris for being top achievers at school. When Aunt suddenly said she felt really sick.
Maybe you should have the party on another day. I'm so unwell. Shirley must have caught it too. Look, she feels so warm. It's possible what we have is contagious.
But I've already bought all the food and invited the guests. I can't cancel everything just a day before the party.
Maybe you two could just stay in your room, Aunt.
Oh, so you want me and my daughter to stay in the rooms like we are outcasts? Did you hear what she said, brother? We aren't good enough for their party. They always make us feel like we're living on their charity.
What? She didn't mean it like that.
Aunt started coughing loudly and Dad took her to her room. When he returned, he asked us if we could cancel the party. But Dad, Iris, and I already invited all our friends.
My mom is sick, and I think you should listen to your dad.
It does seem insensitive to have a party when she's unwell. We can have it another time, please.
It was so hard to say no to Dad, so we canceled it. And just then, I caught sight of Shirley grinning as she walked away to her room. She and Aunt were such drama queens. And the worst part was that Shirley was in the same class as me. In 8th grade, I got selected to be the class president. And just as I was about to give my first presentation on all the changes I wanted to make, I stared at the projector in horror. Instead of my slideshow, it was a video of me singing and doing a stupid dance in front of my mirror at home.
That's your president trying to be Beyonce. Gosh, how stupid does she look?
Shirley, you're a wicked witch, just like your mother! She got up and pushed me against the chalkboard, and I took the duster and buffed her face white. Seconds later, everyone around us was laughing as we broke out into a full-scale catfight. But the teacher was not impressed by my behavior.
Freya, I'm taking away your position as class president until you learn to lead by example. Hitting someone's face with a duster is not leadership material.
But she pushed me!
And you called her mother a witch?
Later that afternoon, while I was doing my homework,
Aunt came and sat next to me with her tea, and she poured it all over my books.
Hey, what are you doing?
This will teach you to watch what you say about me. I'm a witch, huh?
I'm telling Dad about this.
Go ahead. I'll just say it was an accident. He will never believe you over me, his beloved sister.
And she was right. Dad didn't believe me.
Freya, I'm sick of you disrespecting your aunt. When your mother gets back from the store, we're having a family meeting.
But Mom had been gone for hours, and she wasn't even answering any calls. We were beginning to feel worried, but just then, a car drove up to the house, and Mom thanked a strange man as he dropped her off and drove away.
What happened?
My car's engine suddenly heated up and my phone was dead. Luckily, my boss was driving by, so he offered me a ride.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'll get your car towed and fixed.
I just couldn't help noticing the way that man looked at you.
What way? What are you trying to say?
Nothing, just saying.
My aunt was on a mission to stir up trouble between my parents. And later that evening, while Mom was in the bathroom, I found Aunt digging in Mom's bag.
What are you doing?
Why don't you go up to your room and read a book, dear?
Not until you tell me what you're up to.
I'm looking for a painkiller for the headache you're giving me. Ah, there it is.
She took it and left, and I told Mom right away, but she checked her bag and said everything was in place. But just a few days later, it was Dad's birthday, and Mom bought him some new shoes.
Oh, I was expecting a Rolex watch.
Ha ha ha, really? Well, honey, that's quite an expensive gift.
But you used our credit card to buy it 2 days ago? I got a message on my phone?
What? No, I didn't.
Mom and Dad got into an argument on his birthday, and then Aunt came along to make things worse.
Oh, I think I know who your wife bought the watch for. It was for that same man who dropped you off last time. You know, her boss.
And how would you know that?
I'm my brother's sister, and I see everything that goes on around here. I won't let anyone betray him.
I've had enough of this nonsense. Who do you believe, me or her?
Dad believed Aunt. And that day, Mom packed her bags and took me and Iris with her. Mom rented out a small apartment, but things were not easy with Mom's small salary, and Dad only paid for our school fees. And soon after, things got even worse when Iris started to feel sick. When Mom took her to the doctor, we got the scariest news ever. Iris had a problem with her heart, and she needed a donor. Oh, Mom, why is this happening? I don't want anything to happen to Iris.
And nothing will. We have to stay positive, honey.
Iris had to stay at the hospital for a while. And one day, Dad came to visit with Aunt and Shirley. But when the adults weren't in the room, Shirley turned to Iris and said,
Now because of you, your dad might lose our house.
What are you saying?
Don't listen to her, Iris.
He's paying for your treatment, stupid. He can't afford the mortgage payments on the house. Thanks to you, we'll be homeless soon.
It was never your house to begin with. Get out of Iris's room now. Later that day, I started to do some research on heart donors, and I was surprised to find applications on a funding program called the Heart Foundation. I quickly applied, telling my story, and sent it with fingers crossed. When I told Iris about it the next day, it made her really happy.
Even though our family is no longer the same happy family, I'm so glad that I have you as my sister and best friend.
I hugged her and then turned on the music on her phone, and I started dancing for her like old times. And she laughed so much. Back at school, I struggled to keep my grades up because of everything that was going on. And one day, Shirley scored higher than me in math and couldn't stop rubbing it in my face.
Now that I'm the smarty pants of the family, I'm gonna tell my uncle to throw me a party. Don't worry, you're invited, as the waitress.
Suddenly, I felt so furious that I just screamed and charged her. But somehow I managed to stop myself at the last second. So I was shocked when Shirley suddenly fell to the floor like she'd fainted. Shirley?
Oh my God, what if you killed her?
What? I didn't even touch her.
No, I saw you.
Her friend ran off to call the principal. Shirley was rushed to the hospital where she was just fine soon after. But I was suspended for 2 weeks. I was really angry, but my suspension meant I got to spend a little more time with Iris at the hospital.
I miss our treehouse. Me too. Let's go there.
You know we can't do that. We'll get in so much trouble.
Please, Freya. I'm so tired of being in the hospital.
My sister made her puppy dog eyes at me, so I put her on the wheelchair and told the nurses that I was taking her out for some fresh air. We sneaked right out of the hospital and got onto a bus that took us to Dad's house. No one seemed to be at home, so we headed straight to our tree house. Are you sure you can even climb up?
Yeah, of course I can.
Okay, go really slow and I'm right behind you. Iris climbed up the ladder, but as soon as she was inside the treehouse, she let out a loud scream. I started climbing up frantically, but just then, I saw Shirley looking down at me, and next to her was a boy from school. Shirley, what are you doing here?
Bunking school and making out with my boyfriend. You and your sister are trespassing.
Shut up, this is our treehouse.
Oh yeah? We'll see about that.
She kicked the ladder and I lost my balance. But luckily, I caught a tree branch just in time.
Oh my God, Freya.
I turned to see Dad looking up at me, and next to him was Mom. Dad quickly put the ladder back and helped me climb down. What are you guys doing here?
The hospital told us you were missing. We figured you might be here.
I'm sorry, Mom.
It's not her fault. I made her bring me here because this is my happy place.
Iris cried, and we had a family hug until it was interrupted by Aunt.
What's going on here?
Shirley kicked the ladder down while Freya was on it.
What nonsense! My Shirley would never do that.
I saw it with my own eyes.
Shirley came down from the treehouse with the boy, and Aunt didn't look so happy.
Shirley!
I'm sorry.
Shirley looked down sadly, but I didn't buy her act one bit.
I'm so disappointed in you, Shirley. You really could have hurt Freya.
And if you're really sorry, tell everyone the truth about what happened in school.
You pushed me. That's what happened.
Yes, she did. And brother, why are you holding that woman's hand? Have you forgotten that other man she's with?
Dad immediately let go of Mom's hand, and she looked so sad. As Mom drove Iris back to the hospital, I had a brilliant idea. Mom, can I borrow your credit card?
Honey, I'm already owing a lot on my credit card.
No, I'm not buying anything. I just want to investigate something. I then asked her to drop me at the mall and went to the only jewelry store that sold Rolex watches. Excuse me, can you check my mom's credit card? I think she bought a Rolex watch here some time back. The store assistant checked the card, and the time of the purchase showed up. I requested to see the CCTV footage of that date and time, and it was exactly what I had expected. My aunt was the one using my mom's credit card. I made a copy of the video on my flash drive and left. I was on my way to Dad's office when I got a phone call that made me yell out with excitement. Iris's application for the donor heart was approved. My sister was going to get a new heart, and she would be completely okay. When I reached Dad's office, I showed him the video from the jewelry shop.
Oh my God! I don't know what to say. She's my only sister. Why would she do this to me?
You really broke our hearts when you believed your sister over us, Dad. Aunt broke our happy family and you let her? The next day, while Mom and I were in the hospital with Iris, Dad suddenly walked in with flowers.
I am so sorry. And I know my apology is not going to be enough right now, but I love you all very much, and I will do anything to have you back home.
Mom didn't forgive him immediately, but once she heard that he'd kicked out Aunt and Shirley for good, she was willing to give Dad a second chance. And slowly, our family became whole again. I learned a big lesson here. Always look for the truth, even if it hurts. A good leader is a truth seeker. Hi, I'm Jasmine from San Francisco. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. I was born with cherry lips and big black eyes. My parents said I looked like a child out of a fairy tale. But whenever Mom and Dad talked to me, I never smiled or changed my facial expression. My parents tried everything to make me smile.
Mrs. Rabbit wants to play with you.
Come on, give Mr. Mouse a kiss.
Dad held a mouse puppet close to my face and made kissing noises. But I just stared blankly and slapped the mouse away from me. That's when my parents decided to take me to a doctor. After a few tests, I found out I had a condition called Mobius that meant I couldn't smile, frown, or lift my eyebrows. I was too young to understand what Mobius was, but when I was in preschool, Mom and I were at the mall when we bumped into one of her friends who had a daughter my age. She kept smiling at me, but all I could do was stare at her like a robot. Suddenly, the little girl started to cry.
Mommy, this girl is scaring me.
Oh, sweetie, don't be scared. Our dog ran away yesterday, so Jasmine's just sad.
But Mom, we don't have a dog? Mom pulled me away quickly. That's when I realized she was embarrassed to tell her friend I had a condition because that meant I wasn't normal like everyone else. And at school, none of the kids really wanted to be my friend because they thought I was strange. So I spent most of my time alone. But several months later, my life took a huge turn. Mom gave birth to my twin sisters, Kiara and Helena. My parents worked full-time, so we always had a maid in the house. But even with a maid, I was always the main one to watch my sisters. One day, Helena, the wilder twin, climbed all the way to the top of our backyard fence. Helena, come down right now.
No, I don't wanna. Kiara, come climb up and we can fly like birds do.
No flying! Kiara listened to me, but Helena was about to jump and my heart almost stopped. But then she started laughing like crazy.
Haha, fooled you.
I was furious and told Mom what Helena did. Mom went ballistic.
What is the matter with you, Helena? Why can't you be a good girl like your sisters?
Helena's eyes filled with tears. From that day on, she made everyone's life a living nightmare. She hated me for telling on her. And over time, Helena grew jealous of Kiara. Kiara was what you call gifted and could get straight A without even trying. One time, when the girls were in 4th grade, Mom and Dad threw Kiara a huge party for winning the school's spelling bee.
Our little Einstein, we're so proud of you, Kiara.
Helena stormed out of the room at that moment. And that night, she chopped off all of Kiara's hair while everyone was sleeping. Kiara burst into tears, and I tried to comfort her. Don't worry, it'll grow back.
Helena's such a mean bully.
I won't let her bully you anymore. Kiara, I'm here. Kiara slept in my room every night after that because she was terrified of Helena. I loved both my sisters, but Helena grew up to be so mean. Then one day in 8th grade, a new boy joined my class. His name was Daniel, and he wore those fat black spectacles. He was really short and really shy. While he was walking to class, this guy bumped into him and his glasses went flying. Daniel started freaking out.
I can't see anything.
I saw Daniel's glasses on the floor and picked them up quickly. Here you go, but it looks like they're broken.
It's okay, it's better than nothing.
Daniel put on his broken glasses. He looked silly, but also kind of cute. He and I ended up hanging out for the rest of the day, and he was super sweet and good to talk to. Over time, Daniel and I became really close, and I even started having feelings for him. But he always just treated me as a friend, and I didn't want to ruin what we had. Life in high school was good till Kiara and Helena joined and things got a little crazy. Whenever Helena saw me with Daniel, she grabbed the chance to make fun of me. One time Daniel and I were in the hallway when we passed Helena putting on lipstick.
Hey Daniel, don't you ever get bored of hanging out with sad face emoji over here?
Of course not. That's not a nice thing to say, Helena.
Yeah, get out of my sight before you regret it.
Okay, but first I need to do this.
Before I knew it, Helena had pinned me against the locker and drew a smile on my face with her lipstick.
You look so much better now.
I pushed Helena to the ground and she fell on her butt. She dragged me down, but Daniel stepped in.
Cut it out, Helena!
Daniel pulled me up and led me to the girls' bathroom. He helped me rinse the lipstick smile off, and I looked at my face in the mirror. Daniel, do you think I'm ugly? You can tell me the truth!
Jasmine, look at me. You're not ugly. I think you're the most beautiful girl I've ever seen.
Daniel leaned in and kissed me, and I felt butterflies. A bunch of girls came in just then and started shrieking.
Ew, what's he doing in the girls' bathroom?
Daniel and I ran out laughing like crazy. I was on cloud 9 all that week. I didn't even mind that our maid was coming less, and I was doing all the chores by myself. But Helena couldn't stop talking about me having a boyfriend.
I just don't get it. How can someone like you have a boyfriend but not me? I'm way prettier than you.
Well, not everything is about looks, Helena. As time passed, Kiara started dating a popular jock at school. Her grades were still perfect, and she got much more popular than Helena. Kiara's life and mine were getting better and better, but Helena didn't have anything going for her. One morning, I woke up to find everybody at home, including my parents, which was rare, and Kiara was super sick. Her face looked super bloated, and she had red bumps all over her arms and legs. My parents left me at home with Helena while they took Kiara to the doctor. Helena was surprisingly well behaved and even stayed in to do homework. I decided it was safe to go out and see Daniel for a bit. But as I reached home, my parents and Kiara had also just returned. Guys, what's going on? Kiara, what did the doctor say was wrong?
I have an autoimmune problem. Apparently, every time I get an allergic reaction, this is what'll happen.
My parents left for work then. Suddenly, Kiara looked at her phone and started to cry.
Oh my god! Just look what Helena posted!
To my horror, Helena had posted a picture of Kiara with her red skin, bumps, and bloated face on Instagram. Underneath, the caption read, "Even pretty girls have ugly secrets." Just then, Helena came trotting down the stairs all dressed up.
Helena, you're a monster! How could you do something like this?
I couldn't help myself. It was just too funny. Kiara looked totally Instagram-worthy.
Before I could answer, Kiara's boyfriend came down the stairs too.
Here, babe, you forgot your jacket.
Babe, what are you doing here?
Helena invited me over while you and your sister were out. Listen, I can't date you anymore, not after seeing your skin.
He and Helena walked out the door before any of us could say anything. How could Helena do something so sick? I stayed with Kiara the whole day and told my parents everything that had happened. They grounded Helena for 2 weeks. And then the strangest thing happened. Kiara became more popular in school, and kids at school started ignoring Helena. Everyone thought Helena was heartless for stealing Kiara's boyfriend. She became a total outcast. Kiara got a new boyfriend, and Daniel became more and more handsome. By the end of 12th grade, he even got contact lenses. The day before my graduation, my parents pulled me aside.
Jasmine, we were thinking maybe you can apply for an online college.
We still really need you to keep an eye on your sister, sweetie.
Are you kidding me? I've been the family nanny my whole life. It's about time you two took over and taught the twins to be responsible. I deserve to focus on my life now. With that, I walked away, and I spent days applying to my dream colleges. But one night, while I was reading, Kiara ran into my room.
Sis, come quick, it's Helena, she's gone.
What do you mean she's gone? I dashed into Helena's room to find my parents holding a note from Helena.
Helena wrote that she's leaving home to live somewhere else. She didn't even write where.
Dad called the police, and they tracked down Helena's phone. It turned out she was staying with our aunt, who Helena was super close with. We were all relieved, but when we went to pick her up, she refused to come home.
I told Aunt, I don't want to stay with you guys anymore, and she's happy to keep me. I'm not going home with you guys. You can't make me.
Mom and Dad spent hours begging her to come home, but they couldn't persuade her, so we left without her. But my parents were sure she'd cool off and return in a couple of weeks. Except she didn't. She stayed with Aunt for a month. Then 1 month turned into 3 months, and then 6. And Helena refused to speak to any of us. And I left for college soon with Daniel. I kept in touch with Kiara, who told me after some time that Helena had moved out of her aunt's place and was now living with some friend. 4 years later, Daniel and I graduated university with honors, and we started a small software company that met success almost immediately. And soon after, Daniel proposed to me, and of course, I said yes. Life was going great. And then one day, I got the most unexpected call.
Jasmine, it's Helena. Can you meet me today? I need your help.
No, hi, hello, how have you been?
Please, I'm in crisis. I'm texting you the address. Meet me there.
Helena hung up before I could even answer. I felt mad at her, but I just couldn't ignore my little sister. I went to the address and found her sitting on a bench outside a small building. Helena had chopped off her lovely hair, and she looked thin. Helena, what's going on with you?
I started a makeup business, and now I'm in debt. I was wondering if you could lend me the money to pay it off. I'll lose it otherwise.
You shut out your whole family for years, and now you call me out of the blue because you want money?
This is not how I wanted to reach out to you, okay? I wanted to make something of myself first, and make you guys proud of me. I was just never as perfect as you or Kiara, and that just made me jealous and stupid, and I'm sorry for everything. I've been trying to be better. I really believe my business can work, but now I'm in a mess as usual, and I could only think of you. You've always taken care of me.
I was surprised at how sincere and different Helena sounded, and it was good to see her trying at something. I wrote her a check and was about to leave when suddenly I turned back and handed her a wedding invite. I'm getting married in a few months. I'd like for you to come, and I'm sure everyone else would be happy to see you too. A couple of months before the wedding, Daniel took me out to a special dinner.
Jasmine, I've been saving up some money and doing research for years. Moebius, your condition can't be cured, but it can be slightly corrected through surgery. And I just found this amazing surgeon. I just want you to know that you're perfect as you are. But if you want the surgery, I have the money for it.
My eyes filled with happy tears. I agreed to get the surgery, and Daniel was by my side the whole time. The doctor couldn't completely fix my issues, but I felt like a whole different person being able to have real facial expressions. On the day of my wedding, my parents and Kiara were with me in the dressing room when suddenly the door opened and Helena walked in. Everyone looked shocked to see her, but I was so happy she came.
Guys, I know we've all had our issues, but can today be the day we all start to make up?
My parents hugged Helena and we all cried. And even Kiara joined in. Then my parents turned to me.
Jasmine, we're so happy for you and so grateful to you. We know we always put too much responsibility on you, and it wasn't fair.
We want you to know that we really appreciate you, love.
And hearing those words from them meant everything. My sisters walked me down the aisle, and I could hear people smiling and whispering that I looked amazing. Daniel beamed at me as he took my hand.
You have the loveliest smile, Jasmine.